Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Michigan Tech Esports. Tonight, our varsity Call of Duty team is kicking off their season. They're going to be taking on Mars Hill University here in Week 1 of the Playfly Varsity Premier regular season. I'm Jake, I go by Scrimpy, and tonight I'm joined by...
Nick, I go by One.
All right, and today is Week 1 for the Call of Duty team. Obviously, a bit of a storied history here for the COD team. Their first semester as a varsity team won their conference. You can't get off to more of a hot start than that, really. Second semester wasn't able to quite hit that height, but still made the playoffs, still went on a nice run. So we'll see how they go now in their third semester as a varsity program. Like I said, this is their first week, and our players are ready to get started off strong, hopefully with a big series win here against a powerhouse team in their conference. But let's go over the rosters here.
So for Michigan Tech, we have Max or Scuba, Christian or Clutch Russ, Daniel or Pine Ree, and Trent or Twent.
All right, and then for the Mars Hill team, we have Mazo, Lucho, Aaron Suckery, and Zuner. So this is a 4v4 matchup. It's going to be a best of 5 series of games. For those of you who have not tuned into a COD broadcast before, the way this happens is it goes across 3 modes where the game mode changes for each match of the set. The first team to win 3 of those games wins. So we're going to start off with a hardpoint game. Then we're going to be going to search and destroy, control points, and then back to hardpoint and search and destroy for games 4 and 5 if they're necessary to play. The first team to win 3 games, like I said, wins the series, gets that 1-0 start in the regular season. So a lot to play for here. I believe it's an 8-week regular season for Call of Duty, so not a lot of time to get into that top 3 and secure a playoff spot. Every single win counts a ton here. All right. So while the players get loaded into their lobby, we're going to take a brief intermission to make sure everything's all set. We'll be right back with you for the start of Game 1. See you then. Welcome back, everybody. We're still waiting for a couple players to load into our lobby here, so a little bit more time to go until Game 1 starts. For those of you curious, it will be a hardpoint match, like I said, and Map 1 will be Karachi. Map 2, we're going to have the Search and Destroy on Rio. Map 3 will be Control Point on Invasion, and then Maps 4 and 5, if necessary, will be Hardpoint again on Subbase, and Map 5, Search and Destroy on Invasion to end the series. So 5 pretty exciting maps there. Definitely an interesting map pool. We're going to see Invasion twice in 2 different game modes if we go through the full 5 games. So an interesting shakeup there. But before we get started, we just want to thank a couple of our sponsors. So if you need a place close to campus, we have the places for that. Find the perfect location, live where you want to live at houghtonforrent.com. Big thank you to Bradway Enterprises for sponsoring tonight's stream. If you're looking for a place to stay next year as a student, they have all kinds of housing super close to campus, so definitely worth checking them out. But as one of the coaches here who recently joined at Michigan Tech Esports, you probably have a pretty good idea about how these early season moves begin, how the tension feels in the room for when a season's just kicking off, a team's trying to figure out just where do they stand, what can they push for here? Are they ready to make that big push for a championship this year?
Yeah.
What's that whole process kind of like as a player and I guess as a coach as well?
Yeah, so the players are all pretty excited. They're eager to get into the games and compete. There's a lot of tension, a lot of kind of wondering how things will go. But yeah, I know Call of Duty is real excited to get started here.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said earlier, first semester they went on to win their conference in their first semester as a varsity program, so a huge achievement to start off. In the second semester, a bit of a slow start, but went on a pretty big win streak late to secure a playoff spot, got into that top 6 for their conference. So had a really solid end of the season after facing early adversity. Obviously, I'm sure they'd like to skip the early adversity part in a season like this and lock up one of those top seeds in a conference, have a smooth ride to the playoffs, but obviously it's a difficult climb. There's a lot of teams. They're all thinking they want the same thing. So a lot to fight for, and it's definitely going to be a lot tougher, at least based on our ranked shakeups here in this conference. So a lot to fight for here for the Huskies, a lot to look forward to this season as well. They will be playing every week on Thursday until, I believe, early November is when the regular season ends, something like that.
Yeah, late October, early November.
Yeah, because I think a couple of the teams, the season ends a week or two earlier for a couple of teams based on how many teams are in their conference.
I believe COD is 9 weeks with 1 bye in there.
Yeah, all right. And then, I think, was it the Smash season that was really short this year?
Smash has 5 games.
Yeah, just how the conference is aligned in Smash this year. There were so few teams in each conference, they just had to shorten the season a bit. But Smash is a pretty exciting title for us as well. That'll be streamed on Mondays, I believe, usually at 8:30 p.m.
Yep.
For our Smash titles. And the Smash team is always amazing, so be sure to check out those streams if you love Smash. But it looks like all the players are in the lobby here, so hopefully in the next couple of moments, we'll have Game 1 started on Hardpoint on Karachi. So let's see how this goes. And we are loading in right now, so let's go ahead and cut to our game. And here we are on Karachi. The map will start loading here, and then we can get going. So yeah, a lot of things to be excited about if you're a Huskies fan. Starting off the year with a win for Rocket League, a sweep for Rocket League, and of course a 2-0 sweep for Smash as well on Monday. So can't have much better of a start than that.
Yeah, it looks like we loaded into the wrong map, so they're gonna go back out
it was
and
Invasion.
Fix that. Hopefully that won't take too long.
I was on autopilot. I was ready to say, yeah, this is Karachi. Yeah, sure. But yeah, so Game 1 getting underway here, hopefully very quickly. But, 2 teams getting off to a very hot start for the Huskies.
Yeah.
Rocket League especially. Smash, we kind of knew what this team was already coming in.
Yeah.
We knew that they were going to be fighting for one of these big playoff spots. But Rocket League coming out and leading off with a sweep is big news for them and really exciting to see. Especially, I'm the Rocket League caster, so it means
Right.
I'm going to be a lot more excited this year. So excited to see how those teams develop. But are there any other rosters that you think are going to be really exciting to see early here? Which, what teams, if any, have stood out to you so far?
I'm really excited to see how the Valorant team does.
Yeah.
There's been quite the personnel change there between years, and so I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this new roster kind of stacks up against their competition.
Yeah, and I mean, there are quite a few new players for the Valorant team, so seeing how they shake up, because their competition hasn't gotten any easier, so it's definitely going to be a big test for them. But they've been putting in the work. They're ready to see how this turns out. So really excited to see. I believe their first game is next Tuesday.
Yep.
Yep. So that'll be an exciting game. I believe I will be on the mic for that one as well, so hopefully I'll see you there. But as the match gets reset, we will take another very brief intermission. When game one's ready, we'll be right back here for you in a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Map 1, this time it actually is on Karachi, so hopefully we can get started here pretty quickly. Sorry for the delay, but making sure all these technical issues get settled before we get going is important. And we're seeing a draw pop up. All right. Trying to make sure that the lobby's actually loading in here. I'm not sure if the game just booted everybody out again. This is interesting. Well, you know what? Week 1, everybody's trying to figure out what the UI is. We're going to cut back to an intermission. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. It looks like we're actually loading into the lobby this time. So we are finally going to get going. Game 1 is now underway for Varsity Call of Duty, their first match of the year. And
Never mind.
all right, never mind. In that case, we'd like to thank our sponsor, University Images, for sponsoring our current stream. University Images is your official headquarters for authentic Michigan Tech Huskies apparel. It's university-owned, university-operated. University Images located right here in the SDC, right next to the McInnes Ice Arena, or go to bookstore.mtu.edu if you want to order online. Get some official Huskies merch, including our brand new esports jersey, which I'm not currently wearing. The new one looks better, trust me. Go check it out. It's in University Images. But we're going to figure out what's going to happen here. Technical difficulties appear to be a recurring theme here, so we will get the answers for you, and we'll be right back. See you in a bit. Gonna wait for them to load in.
We have 2D.
They're not in the game?
Yeah, we have 2D.
The Mars- Welcome back, everybody. It seems like this time we are actually getting underway. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Getting players in the lobby proved being interesting tonight. So, got a little bit of time to go here, but we are on hard point, and the game is underway. Mars Hill going to take the point first here. Looks like they're holding this point near mid pretty well to start the match. Hyper defending from the top rope. Waiting for somebody to cross into mid from Tech, but so far Lucho holding the site down well.
Scuba's going to get Michigan Tech's first kill of the match.
There you go. Needed that start, but quickly traded by Lucho, who's off to a 4-0 streak to start their match.
Michigan Tech's really struggling to get anything started here.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I haven't watched a ton of Hardpoint on Karachi, but it just seems like especially this mid point is so easy to hold down. It basically requires the team trying to retake to lap the entire map and get behind the opposing team. There's 2 kills for Scuba and Clutch Russ, potentially getting them onto the site here, but Lucho now looks like is going to have control, but gets chased down well by Scuba, who now has control of that rooftop looking into the diner position. Contested map going to get taken by Mars Hill, currently out to a 35-0 lead to start. In Hardpoint, first to 250 points wins. Scuba gets meleeed there by Hyper. Now holding the map down.
Tech's still struggling to get in. There's no no movement from them.
Yeah, and the other thing here is you're seeing Mars Hill drop trophy systems down, which is just going to cancel out any utility that Tech uses to try to retake. Definitely a dangerous spot here. Tech gets a point on the board, captured P3 for the first tick. But Mars Hill quickly on the site to hold it back down. As time's going to expire and shift over to P3. The new points opened up. Tech is able to take out the Mars Hill players, but it leaves the door open on that third site back in their spawn. And now Tech going to have to push all the way into the map and get past these Mars Hill players. Zuner picks up a kill there.
And it looks like Tech's trying to play together as a team, but Mars Hill is just mowing them all down.
Tech got squad wiped there for a second, and now just lined up there, at least able to get the trade, took out Zuner. But Tech needs to push in and get ground now. Site currently uncontested. But Lucho keeping the Mars Hill defense alive. Trophy system still down, canceling out those nades. Scuba, currently positive, sitting at 6-5 on the match. Just trying to get picks here and there, open up some space for the rest of the team. Picks up another one there. Nice job finishing off the kill on Mazo. But Mars Hill almost halfway to taking game 1 here. And it looks like they're going to hold this point for the rest of the duration, which means that Tech is going to have to shift to P4. Scuba just not able to get around that corner even. Mazo just knows where to watch, just catching all these Tech players on rotations. So far, the Mars Hill players just showing dominance on this map. And Michigan Tech trying to find a way to sneak in, get on that point, and take out some players. Pinery gets taken down. Zuner putting on a clinic on defense with Lucho and Mazo. Clutch Russ looking for a way in, just took too much time. A cruise missile actually gets a team kill for Mars Hill if you look at the kill feed. Hyper just killed Zuner. with a cruise missile. And Zuner trades Mazo with a grenade. But so far, Tech unable to capitalize on these slip-ups. Clutch Rush tried to sneak up on Lucho. Lucho going to get the kill, sitting at 12-5 so far in this match. Only a second on point, but has just been playing from the rooftops, trying to take out the Huskies before they can make a push. And now Mars Hill well over halfway to their 250-point goal. So far in this match, obviously, Tech has been running into a pretty tough wall by the Mars Hill defense. But are you seeing anything, like, do you think like a team push here is what they need to go for? Is it just trying to like be sneaky as an individual and slip behind them? What's the strategy here?
I think they really need to push as a team, try and capitalize a little bit more off of these picks. They're able to get one or two here or there, but often they're sacrificing their whole team to do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a credit to Mars Hill's positioning, because they seem to have a really good idea of the Karachi map rotations, knowing where a lot of Tech players are going to be forced to peek. Like right here, there's almost a team wipe for Mars Hill, but it's just become a thing where they know which angles to watch, and Tech is trying to get out and like actually find a better angle to peek from instead of just running out and getting mowed down. But
Tech's going to manage to get two there.
Yeah,
could signal a change in momentum.
It's a little bit of progress there, but the point is going to expire here pretty soon. It switches back to the central position, which Tech currently has, but they are not picking up any progress on the point, just trying to clear the Mars Hill players away and actually set up a defensive formation, but not going to get away with it there. Scuba just trying to hold down that point, but Mars Hill on it. Zuner once again drops a trophy system on site as well. Going to make that push all the more hard for Michigan Tech, and now Hyper just mowing down from the rooftop. Scuba does get the kill. Twent also gets one. 30 seconds to go on this point. Tech looking for something on this hardpoint match. Nice nade there by Lucho. Draws out, I believe that was Clutch Russ.
Really, at this point, it seems like Tech might just want to get some kills, get confidence, and prepare for the next map.
At this level of esports, it's as much a mental game as anything, so just trying to get something for the road, just win one push, just prove to yourself as a team that you can get around these guys. It's important just for team morale, because I mean, like this final score, it looks like it's going to be pretty ugly, but just finding a way to give yourself something going into game two is going to be, I think, the move here for Michigan Tech. And now back to P2, Mars Hill currently capping. Michigan Tech, final push chance here, 10 seconds left to get a kill. Hyper gets around one, takes out Pinery. Tech has contested the point, one player on it for MTU. Twent just trying to hold it down, has to go off site just to stay alive, and gonna get taken down there by, I believe, Mazo. Final few seconds tick down, and that is not the scoreline you want to see for Michigan Tech. But Mars Hill gonna take game one, and in pretty convincing fashion there for the Lions. We're going to go into game two in just a little bit. That is going to be Search and Destroy, so a much slower paced game mode. A game where Tech is going to have time to figure out what kind of push they want to make. It's a lot more of a trade-friendly game mode as well, because the respawns just don't happen. Yeah. So this is a mode where I think a momentum swing is much more likely, where if you find the right push, the right peak, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to win these rounds.
Yeah. I'm really hoping to see Michigan Tech kind of capitalize on a slower pace of play, and hopefully we've got better strategies.
Yeah, and I will say Mars Hill, definitely a very tough team. This is probably the best team in Tech's conference this semester, so obviously this is premier competition, but Michigan Tech currently sitting down 1-0 in this series, looking for a bounce back on Search and Destroy. That map will be on Rio. But if you want to check out any of our other broadcasts in the future, or the two broadcasts that already happened last Monday, stick right here, subscribe to our YouTube channel. The VODs are currently up if you go to the live tab on our YouTube channel. And this VOD will also be right there. And then next week we'll be back, I believe, Monday through Thursday. We'll have a stream every day, and two streams on a couple of the days. I think Monday and Tuesday both have two streams, if I remember correctly.
Just Monday.
Just Monday is the two streams. So that'll be Rocket League and Smash on Monday, Valorant on Tuesday, Overwatch on Wednesday, and then Call of Duty again next Thursday. Looks like we're having possibly some more lobby issues, so we're going to take another quick break and be back right here for Search and Destroy on Rio for Game 2. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 underway. Here we are on Rio for a little game of Search and Destroy. For those of you not familiar, this is a best of 11 series of rounds, so the first team to win 6 will take this Game 2 point. But so far, it's going to be the two teams trying to either push onto bomb site A or B, or prevent the opposing team from planting the bomb. The team on defense does get a chance to defuse, very similar to Valorant, Counter-Strike games like that. But Mars Hill is going to get on to the B site and get that plant pretty quickly, and now a 2v3 retake opportunity for Michigan Tech. So up a player here, but the clock is against them. Scuba going for a peek. Hyper, nice takedown there. And now a 1v2 situation, all up to Twent now for MTU. Almost caught Mazo on that rotate, but not going to. Damages Hyper, but it's not going to be enough. Mars Hill takes round 1. Just got to that site a little too early, and then just picked off the Tech players one by one to take that one away. So going into round 2, Tech going to be on the defensive side, or on the offensive side this time, excuse me. And we'll see how that shakes out for them.
It's really crazy to see how quickly those numbers switched. Tech was
Yeah.
up 3-2 and then immediately down 1-2.
And it's something where they tried to do a bit of a split push onto site. They all separated. I think basically they were hoping for a trade, hoping that one of them pushing and possibly getting killed by one of the Mars Hill players would be enough information for another to come in and pick up the kill. But unfortunately did not shake out that way for the Huskies. Looks like they're leaning towards the A site, but Twent looking at a potential rotation. Just sitting between the two sites, waiting for information to see which one's going to be the friendlier push for the Huskies. Mazo is going to get taken down, so a 3v4 situation. Huskies have the advantage, but Pinery going to get caught in the corner and just run over by all 3 players sitting there. But now a 3v3 retake chance. Huskies have the bomb down. Let's see what they can do with this. 40 seconds about until it goes off.
Mars Hill's looking pretty split up right now. Seems like they might be going for picks.
Hyper gets taken down, 2v2. Trophy system down for Scuba, or 3v2, excuse me. Twent looking for a bait here. Door's not going to get opened. Will he realize that Lucho is passed? Oh, and gets caught in the corner. Nice observation there by Lucho taking out Twent. And now again, a 1v2 situation. Zuner going for the defuse. Clutch Rush has to come in. Activates Dead Silence, but the defusal is going to be a little bit too quick. Clutch Rush forced to take a bad angle there and gets taken down. Mars Hill, 2-0 lead in the series. Like I said, first to 6 rounds. Wins game 2 here. And takes out Clutch Rush to end the round. Tough spot here for the Huskies, but that round did go quite a bit better for them. Had the advantage the whole way through, and then just got a little bit unlucky. Bit of a brute force retake there from Mars Hill. They read the opportunity well. And now going into round 3, Huskies back on the defensive.
Do you think that it would be better for Tech to take maybe more of a aggressive approach to their defense?
I think overextending would be a bad thing here for Michigan Tech. Like if they're a little bit aggressive with positioning but don't just keep running in, like the Mars Hill players I think are smart enough to just sit there and wait and see if a Tech player is going to push early. And their nice pickup by Zuner just getting around that angle. That's something where I think Tech needs to be a little bit more cognizant of the angles that Mars Hill could choose to counter peek from. Because right now we're seeing that Mars Hill is just essentially running a lap around them, around an angle that they're not currently checking. So when the Tech players get stuck in that position, they're not looking around ready for these counter pushes. They're just being knocked down a player or two. And from that point, with how Mars Hill's gunplay has been so far, that's a really difficult position to recover from. Yeah, currently Zuner sitting at 5-1 in this match. Everybody on Tech has a kill, though. Everybody's contributed, trying to just keep themselves in this game. And, like, I mean, really, the first kill is the hardest in any FPS, just convincing yourself, yeah, I actually can get these guys down, you know? So getting over that hurdle for everybody early, that is a confidence boost, and that will be something big here, I think, for the Huskies. Pinery gets taken down, a 2-piece there. Twent gonna go down as well, and now it's just Clutch Rush hiding behind the truck, needs to heal up. Backs out, stuck behind the pillar, and it's a 2-player push. Clutch Rush gets cornered, and Mars Hill extends the series lead. There, I did like Russ getting that pickup, got that trade. It's just unfortunate it was a trade off of a 2K, and that just meant that Russ was surrounded and didn't have much that was able to happen there. So quickly a pretty big advantage here for Mars Hill, and we'll have to see how the Huskies respond. All right, going into round 5. 2 players sitting at 5 and 2 now for Mars Hill. Clutch Russ at 3 and 4. About 600 damage for Clutch Russ so far in this game, 150 damage a round. That's a solid metric. Just hoping that damage converts into kills a little bit more easily here. Pinery looking for a head glitch, not going to get very successful shots off there. Twink gets the first kill, but immediately gets traded, so Mazo out of the round. A player pushing up quick on Pinery, not ready for it. That was Hyper. Lucho takes out Clutch Russ as well, so now it's just down to Scuba, the team captain. Recently celebrated his 21st birthday, now going to have to try to retake here in a big spot for the team. Mars Hill did not get the bomb down there, but did not matter. Wiped out the Huskies. And now 5-0, looking to take it in a sweep. This is currently match point. Scuba just tried to get in position there where he couldn't get flanked, wanted to force a 1v1, but 2 players peek. And with how their accuracy has been, it's going to be difficult to counter that, especially when, like I said, it is multiple players peeking. So, final few seconds winding down. Do you think the Huskies have a strategy in mind here? Do you think they're going to try to do some kind of counter play, just a trick play, something to get around this Mars Hill defense?
I certainly hope they do. I don't know what that would be, though.
Yeah, it's something where, like, Mars Hill's, their gunplay has been exceptional. Wow.
Mars Hill clearly has a lot of confidence. They're just kind of running wherever they want to be and taking all the kills.
It's something where, like, they're just finding these angles that Tech wants to peek, and just right now just playing a little bit too aggressively for the Huskies, not able to figure it out. And Mars Hill going to take a 2-0 series lead here in our best of 5 overall series. Game 3, we're going to be going to control points, so a bit of a pretty significant shakeup, I'd say, from the first 2 game modes. We'll go a little bit more into the rules as that lobby gets set up, but definitely not the Game 2 you want to see from Michigan Tech. Like I said, I was hoping that was a game mode where you're going to see a bit more of a momentum shift where, you know, the game slows down enough to where you can kind of pick and choose your fights, but when Mars Hill's being that aggressive and they just keep winning gunfights, when you're already in a 2v4 situation 15 seconds into the round, it's just like there's not much you can really do. So Michigan Tech going to have to find a way to respond here. As the lobby gets set up, we're going to take a very brief intermission. We'll be right back for the start of Game 3. right, everybody, welcome to Invasion. We are now ready for map 3 to start. This is going to be the control points mode. For those of you not aware, how this mode works is there's still an offensive and defensive team. Mars Hill is starting this one on offense. Their objective is to get all 3 ticks, the little intersections you see on the control points, completely full. So they are running against the clock and a total number of lives they have available. Both teams get 30 total respawns that they're allowed to use for the entire duration of each round. Mars Hill needs to capture both points completely by the time the time expires. Whenever they get one of those ticks, more time is added to the clock, so you can see when they finish controlling the A point, time was added to their clock. Also, whenever they're on the site, the clock does not go down. So now, just holding onto that B site, gaining more progress, trying to just stifle the MTU counter push, and hoping to draw more tech lives to bring that counter down so they can't respawn as much. But it looks like they are just going to be holding down this capture. Pinery trying to get a flank maneuver here to get them off the site. Gets taken out, and now Lucho going to look around. Hyper does not catch Scuba, but there is a trade there. Zuner gets the trade. Clutch Russ able to take out one, but immediately traded again by Mazo, and that is the point secured. Mars Hill is going to take round 1 in a very quick round there for the Lions. Huskies now on offense looking to respond. Yeah, that is a very effective defensive play there by Mars Hill. Just ran onto the site and asserted dominance. Effective work there by the Lions. Just more of what we've seen all series so far, really.
Mars Hill's really had that momentum the whole time, and I think they did a fantastic job capitalizing on that in that last game.
Yeah, it's something where they're just not letting their foot off the gas so far. And now Tech has the opportunity to respond on offense. Looks like they're going for that B site first. And right now it looks like they may have an advantage. Just Lucho there to defend. Yeah, Mars Hill is expecting A to be the leadoff site. They are going to get a little bit of progress on the site. Scuba gets a nice kill there on Mazo, who was going to be watching from overhead. And right now, Tech with the advantage. 2 players on that B site. This is good news for the Huskies, making progress. Gets that first tick. About halfway through the second already as well. And there's the second tick for Michigan Tech. 1:13 on the clock, but not going to move as long as they're on that site. Currently contested, though. Mars Hill going to take advantage of that, put a trophy system down, and hope for a counter push now. But that also does free up the A site if Michigan Tech wants a bit of a counter push.
And it looks like they are exploring in that direction right now. That might be what they're going for.
Yeah, this is something where the stoppage of the clock while you're holding the site is going to be a really big deal because you only get that extra time once you complete a control point. So basically, this is just pausing the clock on them for retaking B. In the meantime, Scuba does get a little bit of progress there, but if you do not fill up the ticker all the way, you can see that if the other team is on the point, it actually recedes how much progress you have. So very important to get an entire tick when you have control of a site. All right, 30 seconds to go now. Michigan Tech needs to pick a site that they want to push. Already down to just 14 lives remaining, compares to Mars Hill's 24. 22 seconds now, still not able to get onto either site. The Mars Hill defense has proven to be exceptional so far in this match. Pinery gets a kill, trying to move up. Zuner playing defense, but Clutch Russ gonna get traded. Final few seconds ticking down. Tech needs a push. They need to get to that B site right now. Final few seconds ticking down. Can they get there in time? Final second, the answer is gonna be no. Mars Hill gonna take round 2. And now we are at series point. Mars Hill needs one more round win in control points. And we are done in week 1.
Now, we did really see some Michigan Tech come to life there at the beginning of that game. They got 2 whole ticks. They almost got the whole site.
Yeah. That's a lot of progress early. I will say the second point is a bit harder to capture just because all of the players are going to coalesce around the 1 objective on the map instead of 2. But Tech did a really good job early of taking advantage of a Mars Hill split, getting some early picks, and that gave them a lot of headway. It's just making sure they can capitalize on this and finding a way to keep those Mars Hill guns from taking you out of the game. But so far, Mars Hill looking successful on their offensive push. Currently have 1 player on that A site, just holding it down. Tech looking for a counter push. It's going to be Clutch Russ in the lead. Zuner on the site, trying to defend. Lucho holding down mid, takes out Scuba, looking for Trent 2 and gets Twent. 2 big kills there for Lucho, stopping the Tech rotation. And now going to get behind Pinery as well. That's 3 kills in a row for Lucho before finally getting traded by Scuba. Mars Hill on that B site now. They still have not completed A, but making progress at both right now. Tech needs to pick one to make a counter push on. Clutch Rust using nades to try to draw Zuner off of that A site, but currently not working. Mars Hill gets the first tick at B. Big progress on both sites. And now it's Mazo on the A site. It looks like he is going to lock it down. And now the B site almost there as well. Final push chance from the Huskies. Not going to be enough. Mars Hill, a very aggressive move there, looking to cap both sites at once, but it works like a charm for them. Splits the Michigan Tech defense, and they're not able to find a counterplay. Mars Hill with the sweep in Game 3 and going to take the series here in Week 1. So obviously not the start you want to have if you're rooting for the Huskies here, but these things happen. Like I said before, Mars Hill is a really solid team. They're looking like a massive contender in this division, so it's a hard team to go up against. The Huskies obviously going to go back to the drawing board here, going to see if they can devise some new strategies for these modes, especially on these maps, now that they've had a bit of a sample size against more competitive rosters, and going to have to see what they can come up with. But any closing thoughts there on Game 3 or the series as a whole?
I mean, Mars Hill was really just dominant the whole series. They really showed why that they're considered to be a powerhouse in this division.
Yeah, really, really tough team. It's difficult when you're going up against that match Week 1. It's difficult to game plan for players like them, but the Huskies not able to get done Week 1, but we'll see what they can do in Week 2. Coming up next week, so we have no more streams for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week, but on Monday we're going to have a doubleheader for you. At 7 o'clock, we're going to have the Rocket League team taking on Keene State College, and then immediately after at 8:30, the Smash Ultimate team is going to go against Kilgore College. Both of those teams trying to stay undefeated at 2-0 in the season.
Tuesday, we're going to see the Valorant team playing their first match at 7 p.m. against Tiffin University.
That's going to be a big kickoff game earlier, like you mentioned. A lot of unknowns about the Valorant team. We're going to see how they shake out, but going to be an exciting match there. And on Wednesday, we're going to have Overwatch 2's kickoff game against Campbellsville University. That'll also be at 7 p.m. The Overwatch team, always really exciting. They bit of a reputation around here for being the loudest people. They love screaming their call-outs at each other. But, they're a great team. They have a blast doing it. So looking forward to seeing how they do this season as well. And then
Thursday, we'll have Call of Duty once again at 8:30, playing against Newberry College, seeing if they can manage to get a win.
Yeah, and I don't know a ton about Newberry at the moment, but I don't believe they are at quite the perceived tier that Mars Hill is. But I'm sure they'll still be a very strong opponent. So looking forward to seeing how the Huskies are able to fare there in Week 2. But that is all that we have for you tonight. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Like I said, be sure to like our stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay updated and see all of our broadcasts in the future. You don't need to listen to us announce all the coming up next games. If you just hit the little notification bell too, then your phone will just yell at you whenever we're live. So, if you want to save a little bit of convenience there, just hit that little bell at the bottom of the screen. But again, thank you so much. I've been Scrimby.
I'm one.
Thank you again. Have a good night. Go Huskies.